If you're Harry Kane, when do you start having a word with your agent to get some feelers out?
Well, I'd imagine they have already, but the whole thing will hinge around Pochettino, I think.
Right.
He's the glue to keep them together short term.
So if you were Harry Kane, you would stay because of Pochettino?
I think Harry Kane and Pochettino, I'm guessing here, I think they might stay for, I think there'll be a couple of players that will go at Tottenham, and there's maybe Alderweireld's contract's coming up.
Yep.
Eriksen's contract's coming up in a year or so. They've got some thinking to do. For Tongan as well, I think Trippier, they need to replace Trippier at right back. But I think, my own opinion is, I think Harry Kane and Pochettino will be there at the start of the season. I think Harry Kane will have to go eventually if he wants to.
But what will change at the start of the season?
Well, I think the reason with Pochettino is because he might get some false promises from Daniel Levy. But ultimately, if you look at all the big jobs at the moment, we think Sarri's taking the Juventus job. So that door looks like it's closed. Real Madrid's closed. We think Barcelona's closed, and Valverde's staying for the time being. There's no job at Man City. There's no job at Liverpool. The Man United job's gone for the time being, with Solskjaer being appointed. The Chelsea job is probably going to be available, but do you want to leave Tottenham for there with the problems? So I think from Pochettino's point of view, if he plays it clever, doors will open again in 6 to 10 months' time, rather than just now, because I think he will have to get out of there eventually because of the finances.
If you were Pochettino, though, and Juventus hasn't sealed the deal with Sarri, and they come to you,
I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really is the key there.
If you were Kane quickly, Ali, what would you do?
If I were him, I would go.
Yeah.
If
you look at the squad, it's about the squad, isn't it?
Well, and it's also about the fact that I don't think I'm going to get to this stage again with this team. Yeah. Unlike Liverpool last year, that you could have made the argument, look, this team is set up for the future. This team could be here next year. That you cannot say the same thing about Spurs. I don't think they get to Champions League final next year. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of things lined up this year for them to do it. They took advantage of it, but in the end, they fell short. So if I'm Harry Kane, I'm gone. But I would have been gone a long time ago. It seems like he has a connection with this club that goes beyond an objective business decision, that there is more to it, that there is emotion involved. If I were him, I would be looking elsewhere, because I think the ceiling for him is higher than it is for Spurs as a whole.
See, the public perception is... the perception amongst fans of... and I understand fans of each team are blinkered. Tottenham fans, they hate it when we talk about Tottenham players leaving. United fans, they all hate it when you talk... But I think what they have to accept, what fans have to accept, and maybe some have, maybe some haven't, that no matter if you're Harry Kane or Pochettino or whoever, is the public persona is almost always different from the private persona.
Yeah.
I love it here, I want to stay, because behind the scenes, all the players and managers worth their salt have an exact idea of what doors might open, when, how much, what the benefits and what the hindrances are of making those moves. And then, till they can get those concretely put in place, they'll play a game. That's what players do, no matter if it's Harry Kane or anybody else for that matter. And, Tottenham fans are just going to have to accept, if Daniel Levy doesn't spend the money, and it might be difficult with that fantastic stadium being put in place, and Mauricio Pochettino goes, it's going to be tough.
Players and managers, regardless, are independent contractors.
Yeah.
And that only lasts for so long. That only lasts until somebody...
And it's a two-way thing as well.
Of course it is.
And pundits.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
For more, sign up now for ESPN Plus.